So one of you guys sent me this little clip, and it is labeled "Why RPGs Shouldn't Let Players Kill God," featuring Josh Sawyer from Obsidian. Josh Sawyer, of course, being the original head honcho behind Fallout New Vegas and now in charge of the upcoming Fallout game from Obsidian. And in this interview segment, clipped from the Examined Game with Stephen Lake, they describe how Josh views like RPGs and game design, and to what extent you should allow players to kill God, quote unquote, but also to what level of power you should give players. And I think it's an interesting philosophical jumping off point for what makes RPGs work and what makes them kind of fall flat.
Superman is holding a dying child, starving, and Lex Luthor says on the cover, he's like, all your power, and there's nothing you can do to save them. It's like, yeah, because you fucking shoot lasers out of your eyes and you're bulletproof. And you're like,
to be clear, Josh Sawyer is on the right.
But like, mass starvation is like not a thing that you like punch your way out of or laser eyes your way out of. I think when role-playing games are at their best, you feel like you are really at the center of these decisions, and you can't control everything, but you can control a lot. And I think I've done this in a lot of the games I've worked on, to different levels of success or favorable or unfavorable reception by the audience. Like in Deadfire, notably, like, you can't stop Aethys. Like, he's just going to do what he's going to do. And you're kind of told that point blank. And we also try to telegraph that he's like way beyond the ability to physically do anything to. But players are very conditioned by a lot of RPGs to expect like, yeah, but I'm built different. Like I'm going to be able to take this guy out. And
I've run into this same phenomenon in D&D actually, because you guys may know I like running D&D games for my friends. We've done a few campaigns and it's been awesome. But one of the common hiccups is that players, I don't know exactly what games to blame, but there are a lot of RPGs out there that sort of tell players, no, you're basically God. You know, like you can do whatever. Sure. You want to kill like one of the original creators of the universe? Sure. Here's a level up for you, and as long as you can use a good berry to heal up before the fight, you should be good. Like people are just conditioned, and gamers are conditioned to think that they can, if they want, they can be at the top of the hierarchy. And I understand why. Like for a lot of gamers, RPGs become sort of a power fantasy. It becomes a place to explore a character and become powerful and do things they can't do in this life. And putting a limitation on that power feels kind of, I don't know, it feels in a way wrong. Like, if you play a video game and you come across a very powerful character, basically a boss, who's going to curb stomp you if you try to fight them right now, there's sort of this unspoken understanding among a lot of gamers and the games themselves that eventually I'll be able to take them on and beat them. Like right now, yes, I got curb stomped by that boss, but eventually I'll be able to kill them. What Josh is describing is situations where like, no, he will always kill you. Like, no, there is no beating around it. Like you are screwed. Okay. You will not ever beat this monster. Okay. They will always kick your ass, because they're just on another plane. They're just on another level, and that's how it is. And I kind of like it. For one, I mean, you guys know me. I don't like the raw, unfiltered power fantasy in games. I like it. Like, it's one of the reasons I love KCD is because you're not starting out as like some nobleman with immense wealth and resources. You're not starting as Hans. You're starting as Henry. And you start with literally nothing, not even a family. And then you got to build yourself up from there. I like that way more than like, oh, you have this once in a millennium gift that makes you extremely powerful and capable. It's why, like, I know people will point to like Skyrim, with being capable of the dragon shouts and stuff, being dragonborn, or I would point to like Horizon. People forget that Horizon tried to market itself as an RPG at first. It didn't really do that with the sequel as much, but in the first game they did. And in that game, it's also like I guess not to get into spoilers, but there is a reason that Aloy is very special in that world. Very, very special. And there's a reason that she's able to get into areas that other people can't get into, why she can use technology that other people can't use. And it kind of pulls me out of it. I like it when I am fighting uphill battles, and when I am in this world playing by the same rules as everybody else. I'm not just magically special, I'm not just magically capable of doing things because I, through an accident of birth was gifted this opportunity. I think that's, sure, that happens in real life too. There's some people who are just lucky. They're born lucky and they're born into wealth, fame, fortune, success, whatever. But I don't think that's particularly interesting, to explore.
And then you can't. You can help sort of ameliorate damage, and you can make a bunch of very important decisions that have truly huge impacts, but you can't stop him. And part of that idea was, again, going against this idea of I'm the protagonist, I can literally do anything. And I was like, well, with a role-playing game, so much of what we excel at is making the player sort of sit and deal with their choices, which often feel very imperfect. That sense of agony where you're like, I have two things to do that are good and bad, and I gotta decide which is most important. And so many problems are just human problems. They're part of the reality of life and being a human being and living on this planet with other people right now. And even in a fantastic world, there are still going to be powers that are beyond you. There are things that you can't overwhelm. Like in Pentiment,
Well, real quick, I would just say, I think it's the difference between lighthearted fantasy and hardcore fantasy, or lighthearted role playing and hardcore role playing. One of the things I love about New Vegas, for example, is that there's sort of, I'm trying to think of an example of one that doesn't work, but for most of the factions, there is an argument, a compelling argument to be made to side with one over the other in a lot of different ways. I guess Caesar's Legion is tougher to justify personally. But I can see why somebody could come to the conclusion that giving Mr. House, the keys to the house, giving him the keys of the kingdom and letting him take full control, that makes sense. He's clearly capable. He's got resources to protect and control for sure. He's going to benefit from it, obviously, but there's reasons why you might side with him. There's also reasons why you might side with the NCR. There's reasons why you might go with the Brotherhood and give them all of your support. There's no clear right or wrong answer. That's what I always find interesting. The really obvious, this is just bad guy, evil man. He's an actual demon and he eats babies. It's okay, that's just, it's not that interesting. It's just not. Hot take, Luke doesn't think eating babies is interesting. I find it much more compelling when, like Just Sawyer says, when you explore human elements, human emotions, and you let those kind of drive the story, drive the decision making and the choices, and you don't always make everything so ridiculously black and white. I think that goes a lot farther for immersion, and it's more interesting just in general. I just think bad evil guy being evil because he's evil is just not compelling. It's just not.
Need to accuse someone of murder, but I don't actually know, and I can't know. There is no way for me to know for certain who actually did this. And so you understand that this person is going to die, and you have to pick someone. And so you kind of have to do your best. And again, it requires the player to interrogate their own values and say, is it most important to me that I condemn the person I think did it? Is it most important to me that I condemn the person that I dislike? Mm-hmm. Is it most important to me that I condemn the person that I think the town will miss the least? Or and it's not easy. And then when you actually see the execution, we wanted it to feel pretty realistic and it's not a fun thing to see. And some of them are botched because executions were very often botched. It's like Brother Ferenc won't stop moving. It takes 3 hits to kill him, and he's terrified. And so a lot of players are just they're I wish I hadn't done this. And they're just I don't know if there was a better decision to make here, but I didn't think it was going to happen like this. And it's well, this is how it happened.
Good interview. Good interview. Go give the Examined Game with Stephen Lake a sub and a like. That was very good. I think that this is absolutely the case. It's also the reason why I personally, this may actually be a hot take. Okay. I want to hear your thoughts. I hate quick saves. I hate quick saves. I hate the ability in an RPG to quick save before pivotal moments and quick load. Come at me. Cancel me, I don't care. It's because I think it ruins the stakes. And I'm a firm believer that if somebody has the ability, if players, maybe capital P players more generally, have a feature or a tool at their disposal to make the game easier, they will use it, even if it makes their experience worse. So I think, like, in the case of quick loads, if somebody is right before a major decision, like who to send for execution, or they're right before the moment where they're going to try to roll for persuasion, and if they fail, they're going to be screwed and they're going to ruin their reputation with this person, or if they succeed, it's going to be amazing and incredible. A lot of people will quick save right before that. And I think that will not ruin, it will harm their experience. Because when you do not quick save, and you roll those dice and you fail, it hurts. But when you succeed, it feels so much better. You live with the consequences. Yes, you do. You sure do. I think it's one of the things that I am driven crazy by in a lot of RPGs, is that people will just quick save and quick load until they get the outcome they think they want. And it's the same thing I've told players. I've told you guys this story before, but I was running a D&D game and I had a player, let's just say, who I heavily suspected was regularly cheating. Okay. How do you cheat in D&D? It was basically that we would have the dice and we'd go around the table doing stuff, but he would pre-roll. So he would like roll this and be like, oh yeah, I got a 19 plus the, okay, so I succeed on that check, and this is what I do. And I'd have to regularly be like, no, I need to see the roll. You gotta roll it. I call it the Skull of Doom. It's a dice tower that looks like a skull. And I would be like, for major decisions or major moments, you have to roll the dice in front of everybody. And so I tried to make it, dramatic, so it didn't feel so pointed. But he would do that, or he would just like make up and purposely misinterpret rules. So it was like, this ability can only be used once per day, but he used it twice that day and just spammed it, stuff like that. So he would regularly cheat to force outcomes he liked more. And at one point I got so frustrated with it, I did a whole talk in front of the table because I like kind of crashed out low key, pretty high key. And I was just like, guys, the consequence is the fun. Like, that's the dynamic. Okay. If it's only ever successful, it's like we're painting only with white paint. You need contrast. You need failures for the successes to feel like successes. If everything's a success, nothing is. It's just happenings. It's just things. Okay. Like, a critical failure is going to be way more entertaining, and you're going to remember that. That's going to become part of the story. And it's going to have way more consequence, more generally, than if you just have another success that happened to check off a box of what you were expected to, First world crash out for real. Yes, very much so. Yeah, but Luke, I have Will Wheaton rolls. Oh, that's, we'll tackle that later. I think it's just like, what do you do to solve, or what you do? Hold on, I can't read. What you do to solve that is give them actual ways to cheat in a limited way. Well, we had a number of ways to try and wrestle with it. But to a certain extent, if a player is just committed to cheating rolls, they're just going to do it. Like, they're going to find new ways to cheese it, which is why I was trying to like encourage them that, like, no, the critical failure, when you get up there, you put all of your everything into this. Like, we had one moment where a dude, one of our players, not the one that was cheating, but one of our players went up, He gets right in front of the bad guy. He has this like whole speech. He pulls out his dagger. He's about to do an attack straight, like dagger down into the dude's cranium. He does it, rolls a nat 1, and just stabs himself straight in the gut because it kind of slips off. He stabs himself. It was freaking hilarious. And it was awesome. And it was like this big moment, super dramatic. You deserve this. You had this coming. This is for all our friends. Tonight we dine in Valhalla. Oh shit. Like, it was just funny, but it was one of those moments that was way more entertaining than if he just sold it or rolled it and, you know, good enough, you pass. Like, it was those moments of catastrophic failure that were way more entertaining and fun, frankly, than if he were successful. And that's what I've tried to encourage people, is like, those failures often are more entertaining and more fun, more memorable, and often lead the story in more creative ways than when you're successful. You know, it's the same thing with a lot of RPGs and video games in general, is those failures can be way more entertaining. It's the same thing. I remember when I tried at one point, it was not my first run, but it was on one of those runs of Fallout New Vegas where I decided to try and help Caesar. I tried to perform surgery. If you've ever done that, you may know what can happen. And those outcomes are way more entertaining than if everything goes exactly the way that you intended them to, or that you originally meant them to. It's way more entertaining, you know? So I just think that, yeah, quick saves suck. And if I were the God King of gaming, I would ban quick saves in RPGs. The only exception to that is if the RPG is super buggy. Okay, if you're playing New Vegas and you want a quick save because it keeps crashing, I respect it. But when you start like quick saving right before like major choices, that's a bad idea. Alex, yes, but counterpoint, what if I'm scared of failure? That's a bigger issue. That's what if I am afraid? Did you ever think about that, Luke, you dumbass? Fair. I just think, like, again, consequence in RPGs, it's always funny to me that like people play an RPG, a role-playing game all about consequence, and then they will do something like that removes the consequence. And it's like, so you want to just play a linear story that goes exactly the way you expect it to? Like, what are we doing? Why do it that way? Why? Help me understand, you know? That's all I'm saying. I'm fail phobic. It's a condition. Yeah. You got to be able to fail, and you got to embrace it. It's way more entertaining that way, I think. One of the times when I failed catastrophically and I didn't realize it, I was playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. If you guys have never played that, you're basically playing as a professor at Hogwarts. It's really good. It's a good game. I think it's on the Switch, like the OG Switch. I think that's where I played it, at least. And it's a really good game. But one of the things is, on the traditional, like normal, whatever, classical Fire Emblem difficulty, you as the teacher will be taking your students out on missions, and they basically act as like your party in combat, right? They can die, and it's permadeath. So like, you'll take a student out with you on a mission, and if they die in combat, they are just dead. I had never played Fire Emblem before. I did the typical thing, like, and I just kind of blasted through normal difficulties and everything. I just go with whatever the default is, and I was just doing that. And I remember there was this like younger girl who I brought on like every combat encounter because she was pretty good. She worked well with how I played and everything. And I had put a lot of time into leveling her up and getting everything set. And at one point I was playing through, and then I remember I paused and I was like, oh yeah, I used her all the time. Where is she? And I go back and I start looking through like the roster, and I'm looking around the school, and I was like, I cannot find her. And I like looked around, and I was talking to my buddy Corey, who got me into the game. He's like, yeah, I mean, if you can't find her, she's probably dead. I was like, and I paused and I thought, I was like, there was a combat encounter where she did go down. Oh shit. Like, it was this moment of like, she's dead. She's been dead a while. I didn't even realize. My bad. Oops. But it was like, because it had happened, I don't even know how many hours before, there was no undoing it. It was just like the most Oh no. Like I felt so bad. And after that, I was very, very careful in combat. But yeah, it was crazy. State of Decay moment, dude. I'm very excited for State of Decay 3, but I remember playing State of Decay the OG, and I loved it so much. If we got State of Decay fans, please represent. But I remember playing. It was one of the girls. I don't remember her name. Was it Sarah or something? It might have been her. She looks familiar. But I had one of the girls who I had leveled up like crazy. I used her in like almost every single run. We went crazy, and I put so many hours in this game. I loved it. And I still have this like super vivid memory of going out on a run for materials and supplies. I went out, I was looting a house. We got swarmed. She dropped dead. Or after she got swarmed, she drops down and is dead. And Riley, that sounds good. Right, yeah. She drops, and I remember when she died, I have this picture in my head of everybody swarming, and I just remember like I sat the controller down. And like head in hands, just needed a moment. I was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I was like, I could try to frantically run over and unplug the power cord or whatever, but I was like so overwhelmed with just like, I had to embrace it. Just be like, it is what it is. She served me well for a long time, and now she's gone. But that, again, how many moments in video games from like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, however long ago it was, how many moments from games over a decade ago do you still remember that like 2-minute period? It's only 2 minutes over 10 years ago, but you still remember it. I almost guarantee you most of those moments you remember are like catastrophic failures. It's another example why I think failing in games is probably more important than succeeding in them. That's why I can't stand all these modern games that try to be all cushy with everybody, you know? It doesn't work. Yeah. My first Alduin kill. Oh, hell yeah. I don't like permadeath. Cancel me. It's not for every game, to be clear. Not every game should have it, I don't think. But the games that do have it, if you choose to like play by those rules and you accept the terms, it can be very, very impactful. It's awesome. WoW raids that went wrong stick with me. Yeah, Leroy Jenkins. There's a lot of moments like that. I remember like the very first. I remember like long time ago when I was much younger, a young man. I remember playing through like a run of Minecraft and dying catastrophically, and that like fell into a lava cavern or something like that. And I remember that was traumatic for young Luke. Yeah, it's just funny how there's some of those moments where you're like, that was 2 minutes 12 years ago, and it still like gives me heartburn just thinking about, you know, like it's just funny how that works. I'll never forget Shepard shooting Ghost and Roach, not choice based, but it's by far most horrific memory in my years of gaming. One I do remember. Thank you for the 10, by the way. That's super, super kind of you. One I do remember that, like, for whatever reason, like, stuck with me is also one of my OG feuds in Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. I think his name was, like, Ukbuk or Ukbuk or something like that. He was, like, my original nemesis, and I spent so many days and weeks playing through that game trying to kill that dude, and he was, like, perfectly catered to counter my play style. Like it was so frustrating. I wonder if I have a gameplay clip of something or of him or something somewhere. I probably would have saved it. I gotta find it. But there's just a lot of those types of moments, and it's just very funny. It's why it makes me sad that nowadays most kids' moment like that is probably in Roblox. Like they didn't get to experience anything truly potent, you know? Truly potent. Took my thing.